Welcome back to the High Value Man Conversation. I'm your host, Erin Alejandrino, and this is episode 9, and we're talking about porn. Pornography, my friends. This is one of the biggest, nastiest destroyers of confidence for the high value man. This is a major PAM problem, passive aggressive man problem, because he is using porn as an escape, a sedation tool to distract and to castrate his greatness because he is not choosing to develop the skills to truly attract his high value woman. Porn is a problem that is suffocating so many men and their overall masculinity. And it is a problem that more people need to talk about. Because at the end of the day, when I think about the porn problem and the PAM problem, it really comes down to this one very simple metaphor. There are hunters in the world. And hunters go out and they hunt, they stalk their prey, they take down the big animal, they skin them, and they provide the meat and the resources to their family and their tribe. So many men think that they are hunters by sitting on the couch and ordering Grubhub, but you are certainly not a hunter. And if you think about this, you're no more a man if you are getting online and jerking off and beating your meat and considering yourself in the same category of men that actually go out after what they want and are assertive, decisive, directed, and aggressive with their healthy impulses. And you think about this. If you are sitting around and sedating, masturbating, and castrating yourself, you're not really acting like a man. And so that is the major part, the problem with the PAM problem. And porn is one of those things that some people don't want to talk about, this dirty little secret, because it is a free resource to sedate you online. You ever wonder why porn is free? Porn is free because you are the price. It is sucking your masculinity with every single stroke, my friends. And this conversation, this high value man conversation, it is meant to break free, break out, and rebuild men that have the PAM problem. There's nothing more passive than sitting at home, getting on the internet, and beating your meat. There's nothing more passive, my friends. And if you really want to break through the PAM problem and become a high value man, you need to start respecting yourself and respecting that future queen, that 10 out of 10 that you hope to acquire at some point in your life. You have to start building the skill sets, behavior, and the impulse control. Otherwise, you're going to run your entire life as a little boy who is just beating his meat. And that's the truth of the matter. I don't know how many conversations I've had with men or they share their vices, and it's drinking, it's drugs, it's some level of distraction, sedations, Netflix binges, video games, but it's always porn. Porn is such a vice because it makes you feel like a man for a moment. You get aroused by a beautiful woman online, and you're able to get the release after your little ceremony of searching for that next fucked up thing that you are searching for. Guys, the only reason I can speak on this is that, like most men, I've explored down the rabbit hole of porn, and I found myself searching for some pretty fucked up things. And I'm blessed. I'm so thankful and grateful that I broke free from this habit many, many years ago because I saw what it was doing to me. I saw how it was turning me into a lazy, flaccid, soft, weak beta man that was begging for scraps. How can you ever expect to have the respect of women if you are literally draining your vitality before you interact or engage with them? You're supposed to be a little bit turned on. You're supposed to be a little bit decisive. You're supposed to be a little bit directed. You're supposed to be able to have an assertive masculine energy, which comes from your production of testosterone and all of that great stuff that makes us men. But if you are literally liquidating that from your nutsack simply because you've got an urge that pops up, you are losing the greatest potential and power that you have as a man. Your penetrating force, your ability to go into a space and create is reserved for masculinity. It truly is. And every time you empty your seed into grandma's sock, you are missing out on the greatest opportunity to truly penetrate the world with your purpose because you're taking some of your gifts away from the world. And you think about porn, it is seeping into our youth, our young men. And the problem with that is that young men are learning to be soft, spineless, weak, and beta at a very young age, controlled by mass media, masses, and the seduction of what they believe a woman is. It sets very false standards for the male and female dynamic. It robs men of their true masculine potential, and it teaches them that anytime they have an impulse, an urge, a feeling that they don't know what to deal with, rather than process through it or channel it or turn it into purpose and power and potential, they just release it. They just let it go into the world, into the fucking Kleenex box. You do that enough time, over the ages, over years, through your adolescence and young adulthood, every time you feel an urge, you're going to want to sedate and castrate rather than to lean in and be assertive, aggressive, and directed. And see, the PAM problem is all about passivity. It is all about taking the easy way. And so when that impulse pops up for most PAMs, most men out there, they search on the Google rather than leaning into the challenge or developing the skills to become a better hunter and going after the thing that they want, and rather sitting with the discomfort, they just try to scratch that itch. And then we end up with weak beta men who put themselves as nice guys and say, you know what, I don't really need to have these urges. I don't really have a desire for you. I don't really want to date you. I don't really want to be your man. I'm just willing to jerk off in the corner and please myself to a whole variety of fake women and then settle for your scraps as your friend. Or even worse, they get into a relationship, and because they stop pursuing their woman's heart, they stop developing the skills to become a better hunter inside of the relationship that they've chosen to be in. They sedate, castrate, and cut themselves off at the knees, and they never truly grow into their potential. Porn, I think, is one of the biggest symptoms and sicknesses of the PAM problem. PAM likes the easy approach. He wants to not have to deal with confrontation or conflict or the very, very thought of being rejected. And so no one's going to reject you online. You can build your little anonymous profile, get behind the comfort of your screen, and just give yourself a couple strokes, and you get that instant dopamine rush. You get a little serotonin, and you feel like a man for a very split second. But here's the real cancer from that. That carries into your conversation with self. That goes into your expectation with women. That goes into your relationship with men. Your locker room talk is very vulgar, and you start expecting that way to be treated when you get into a relationship. And the truth of the matter is, most women don't want to be treated like a porn star. They don't. They want a man that can withstand his own urges and impulses. And women want a man that is truly in control of his ability to control himself. And so you think about this. If we want to please our women, I'm not talking about just the bedroom. We have to be able to put our needs on the back seat while also going after them. And so how does that show up inside of the dynamic with a beautiful woman? Well, imagine this. You're spending your adolescence, your young adulthood, your 20s and your 30s jerking off because that's just how you deal with the tension, the pressure that builds inside your body every time you get turned on. And so you choose not to pursue a beautiful woman. And so you just sedate and castrate into the sock on your little social media and then YouTube and YouPorn and all the little vicious cycles that we get into. And you never really practice the behavior of conscious control. And so you get into this relationship with this beautiful woman. Somehow you land her. You land her and convince her to start dating you. And you're in this relationship and you expect sex as often as you expected being able to get off as you were single. You practice the behavior of constant self-soothing by jerking off. So what does that do for the relationship? It actually creates more of a distance and a gap because you're looking at her to fulfill your needs. You're looking to her to soothe you. You're looking to her to make you feel better. You're looking to her to only be there when you have sexual urges. There's no flirtation. There's no excitement. There's no foreplay. Do you think that you're going to be able to keep her? Do you think if you're practicing this instant gratification of jerking off whenever the urges come up, whenever the frustration comes up, or whenever you get turned on, whenever you want, you are masturbating and jerking off and getting off to porn? Do you think that that same behavior and practice will really keep a relationship together. I promise you it won't, because I don't know a single woman out there that wants to just be your hole to fill. She wants you to pursue her heart. She wants to know that you can take your urges, your desires, the things that you want, and you can delay your gratification to serve the relationship, the coupleship, and her needs. And I'm not talking about people pleasing, and I'm not talking about prioritizing someone else's priorities before your own. I'm talking about serving the relationship with your God-given talents, gifts, and abilities, which you cannot do if you are an empty vessel. An empty vessel of a man is a man that is controlled by his urges and that does not have the penetrating power of his purpose, his passion, and his desire. There is nothing more attractive to men or women than a man that has mastered his vices. And one of the greatest vices you will ever master, men, is the vice of your own self-desire, your own self-urge, your own self, my friend. That is one of the greatest things you can master as a man. If you got a porn problem, as a PAM problem, a passive-aggressive man problem, and you've been passive in your approach with beautiful women, I also want to share this with you. Beautiful women can smell the beta on you. Beautiful women can smell the beta on you. And I'm going to say this again. Beautiful women can smell the beta on you. So if you are emptying your seed in your sack and not pursuing with your intent, your desire, your direction, being assertive and healthy levels of aggression, that beautiful woman is going to smell the beta on you. She's going to tell that you are running around with an empty sack, flaccid, spineless, and weak bone, that you can't actually resist the temptations and the urges. So how could she trust you? How could she trust you in a romantic relationship if you can't be trusted by yourself? How can she respect you if you don't really respect yourself or respect that future relationship? And if you can't respect that future relationship that you're expecting to be in with this 10 out of 10, this beautiful woman, how do you think it's ever going to show up? Don't you think when you get into that romantic relationship that at some point that her needs, the things that she wants, her hopes and her dreams are going to take priority over whether or not you get some sex? Brother, I got to tell you, you got to start practicing becoming the man now, right now, whether you're in your relationship or not, of who you want to be all the time. Otherwise, when it shows up, you're going to be in the relationship with the old bad behavior. So if you got a porn problem, I'm going to give you a couple things you can do to break free. One is just fucking stop. Stop looking at porn. Stop cold turkey. Flip over to a flip phone if you need be. If the iPhone is too much of a temptation and the Instagram triggers that response and you end up on the Pornhub, on the OnlyFans, or wherever else you get your content on, flip over to a flip phone. Save yourself a little bit of fucking frustration and stop providing the temptation so readily available. Number two, close down any accounts you have. Close down any accounts, any profiles you have. Empty all the pictures off your fucking drive. Get rid of it the same way that an alcoholic would go through his house, and get rid of all the temptation so he's not tempted. Do the same for yourself. Remove the temptation. And number three is find something else to do to put your drive, your penetrating power, your purpose behind that is going to develop a skill that is going to make you more attractive. And when I think about this, the reason why most men go to the ease of masturbation and pornography, it's because they're not really challenging themselves. They're not challenging themselves by putting themselves in places where they're going to face confrontation and conflict, healthy competitiveness. They're not going to get the feedback. And they're also not putting themselves in a position where they have to force themselves to develop the skills to talk to other women, to talk to women. And so put yourself out there. Go do something that is going to make you more attractive as a high-value man. Go join jujitsu. Burn out some of that frustration on the mat, and you're going to be walking around with a little bit less edge. You're going to feel like you don't have to go just waste it in a sock. Go build a skill. Take that same penetrating power, that force, that energy that you feel like you have to empty into something, to empty space. That creates life, by the way. Guys don't take themselves as seriously enough. Your purpose, your power, your penetrating force as a man, you're wasting in a fucking Kleenex box. That builds life. Not a single woman on this planet can create a baby without your power and potential, and you're wasting it on a fucking screen and a fucking Kleenex box. Stop being a beta. Believe in yourself more. Go put that same purpose, that energy into something that needs you. Your power, your potential. Put it into jujitsu. Put it into building your fucking great cake of a life so you can know who you are. Put it into learning how to dance, fucking salsa class. I shared with you guys the 9 ways you can break through the PAM problem. Put it into your fitness. Build a body that when you take your shirt off, you go to the gym, you go and do something in the afternoon, people are like, God damn, that is a handsome guy. And every time you waste your seed on the internet, looking at some fucking fake ass woman on the other side, thinking that you've got a connection, every time you enter into a chat room, every time that you do this fucking beta shit, you are lowering your testosterone. You're becoming more beta. Don't you think at the end of the day, that 10 out of 10 that you think that you deserve, that you want, isn't she going to want an alpha man? Alpha men hunt when they're hungry. They don't spend their time searching the internet for some creepy fucking page to get off on. They just don't. Stop being a beta. Stop being a Pam. Become an alpha man. Take your urges, take your impulses, and stick them away. Grow up, grow out, and grow into the best version of yourself. And the last piece of this, man, is to realize you're not alone. You are not alone. If you got a porn problem, if you got a PAM problem, you are not alone, my friend. I can't tell you how many conversations I have with men where their biggest vice is the self-sedation, castration, because they don't know what to do with these feelings. They don't know what to do with the urges they have. And they don't know how to actually win with the world of women. They're constantly feeling rejection. They're feeling like nobody takes them seriously. Their impulses to have sex, even with their wife, are being denied. Guys, I got to tell you, you're not alone. You're not alone. But the solution is not to empty your sack on the internet. It is not, my friend. The solution is to develop the skills, the mindset, the behavior of a truly high-value man that respects himself. And the best way you respect yourself is by how you treat yourself. And if you are treating yourself as a low-value man that can only get some by getting online, you are not truly respecting yourself. So how could you ever expect a woman to respect you back? Think about that. Let that sink in for a second. So respect yourself by denying your impulses and urges and start putting your penetrating power and purpose into the world by developing skills of a high-value man. Jiu-jitsu, martial arts, fitness, become fucking carved, diced, chiseled. Reach out if you want to check out the Battle Ready program or men's fitness program. It will take you from fucking flat and flaccid into hard, carved out of steel in 90 days. Reach out if you're interested in the High Value Man Accelerator so we can help pour into the mindset to build your vision, help you stack victories and not your vices so you can become a high value man that attracts a high value woman. Last little thing I'm going to leave on this, guys, is you have to clear the space. Clear the space if you expect to break through this form of passivity. Get it off your phone. Get it off your computer. Flip over to a flip phone. Stop following the accounts that trigger you. Stop being that beta on the sidelines begging for the scraps and just putting yourself in a situation as failure. End your relationships, your friendships with women that you're not pursuing, and start leaning into the conflict, the confrontation, the challenge of approaching a woman the way a man should, by putting his needs out there, asking for what he wants, taking her on a date, wooing her, winning her over, but also being so damn attractive in who you are as a high-value man that she can't keep her hands off you. Imagine that if your woman could not keep her hands off you because of the value that you bring to her life, because of the self-respect that you have for yourself. That only happens when you start building it for you first. All right, guys, much love, many blessings, and we'll talk to you soon. Boom.